The prison ship Galactic 4 floated quietly in space. It wasn't made for comfort, only for control. Cold metal walls, blinking red lights, and endless halls echoed with the sound of chains. The prisoners inside were human. And the guards? Tall, blue-skinned aliens with long arms and 4 glowing eyes. They were called the VLARI. To the Velari, humans were weak. Soft, fragile. They couldn't survive extreme heat or freezing cold. They couldn't breathe sulfur gas or drink acid water. So when humans were captured in a small border skirmish, the Velari didn't feel threatened. They felt bored. One of the guards, a gruff Velari named Vexler, grunted as he passed the cell. "Block, still alive, breathers?" He laughed in a deep, rumbling voice. "You last longer than expected." The humans didn't answer. They sat in silence, chained together. Among them was Corporal Jenna Price, her uniform torn and face bruised. But her eyes burned with quiet fire. Vexler stopped in front of her. "You have something to say, little creature?" He mocked. Jenna looked up. Calm, controlled. "You don't know what we are." He chuckled. "You're slaves. You mine gas from the poisoned moons for us. That's all." "No," she whispered. "We breathe death, but for us, it's life." Vexler frowned, confused. He moved on, shaking his head. The next day, the prisoners were forced to work in Vent Sector 12, the deepest and most dangerous part of the gas station. The sulfur clouds were thick there. No alien could survive inside without a full pressure suit, but the humans didn't wear suits. Jenna and the others were simply given oxygen masks, primitive by Velari standards. Still, they walked into the deadly fog with steady steps. One alien technician, Ralzek, watched the footage from a camera. His eyes widened. "They're moving normally," he said aloud. "What?" another asked. "Their bodies look no stress, no pain. They're breathing oxygen directly inside the sulfur zone." The other Velari scoffed. "Impossible." "But it WAs and single quotes T. Inside the gas tunnels. Jenna moved through the thick clouds, placing small metal objects along the wall. Private Malik leaned closer to her. "They think we're working," he whispered. "We are," Jenna replied. "But not for them." She clicked a switch on the device. A soft light blinked. "That's 5 sensors set. 3 more to go." Malik grinned behind his mask. "Soon we'll see what happens when they lose control of their own station." Meanwhile, Ralzek couldn't stop watching the footage. Something was off. The humans didn't act like slaves. They were calm. Precise. Coordinated. He reported to Vexler. "They're planning something," Ralzek said. Vexler waved him off. "You see ghosts. They're weak." Ralzek leaned closer. "No, they're surviving what we can't. That's not weakness. That's power." That night, alarms blared across Galactic 4. Lights flickered. Doors locked and unlocked at random. In the command room, Velari officers panicked. "What's happening?" "System breach in Sector 12, Vexler turned sharply. "The humans? They don't have the tech." Someone shouted. But they did. The sensors Jenna placed weren't tools for mining. They were small hacking modules, created to access the Velari systems through gas frequency lines. Something only humans had discovered, because Velari never dared stay long enough inside those zones. Now, Jenna and her team stood inside an empty fuel chamber, using the stolen Velari cum tablet. Malik typed quickly. "Doors open. Security offline." Jenna nodded. "Route? Maintenance tunnel leads straight to Shuttle Bay. But we only have minutes before they switch to manual controls." Jenna turned to the others. "We move now." They ran. In the control room, Ralzek shouted. "They're escaping. Block the bays. I told you they were nothing." Vexler growled. "No," Ralzek said quietly. "You told yourself that. They warned you." The humans reached the bay. A sleek, unused Velari scout ship sat in the corner. Jenna looked at it, then at the others. Time to fly. They boarded fast. Malik ran to the controls. Think you can fly alien tech? Someone asked. I've been studying it every night. Let's find out. The engines roared. The ship lifted. Laser turrets on the walls fired. But missed. Jenna turned back and stared at the gas station shrinking behind them. You thought we were weak, she whispered. You thought our breath was harmless, but your air kills us. Our air kills you. A day later, Valari High Command received a transmission. A human face appeared. Jenna. This is Corporal Jenna Price of Earth. We are not your tools. We are not your slaves. She leaned closer to the camera. We are the ones who breathe poison and smile. Then the screen went black dot in the shadows of space. The galaxy stirred. For the first time, the Valari were afraid. They had chained the oxygen breathers, but now the chains were broken, and the real war was just beginning. The Valari council chamber was silent. 12 alien leaders sat around a glowing table. Their eyes blinked slowly, their skin changing colors in worry. A large screen floated above them, showing the stolen scout ship still missing. Inside it were escaped human slaves. This is a disaster, hissed High Commander Vesk. They were supposed to die, said another. Humans can't survive in space on their own. They can, replied a cold voice. It belonged to Dr. Sirin, the lead biologist of the Valari Science Division. He tapped a tablet. In fact, they survive better than we thought, especially in oxygen-rich areas. A murmur spread across the room. Vesk narrowed his eyes. What do you mean? Dr. Sirin stood. Our tests show that humans breathe oxygen as their main gas. That's not surprising. But the problem is oxygen is deadly to us. Another council member scoffed. We've always known that. That's why we stay away from oxygen planets. Sirin shook his head. Yes, but humans don't just survive it. They thrive in it. The more oxygen around them, the faster their bodies heal. The stronger they get, their minds become sharper. It's like fire in their blood. A heavy silence filled the chamber, and worse. Sirin tapped again, showing video footage of humans walking calmly through gas tunnels. They can survive in toxic areas by mixing oxygen with other gases. They adapt, we can't. Vesk stood slowly. You're saying their breath is a weapon. It always was, Sirin replied. Far away, in the cargo bay of the stolen Valari scout ship, Jenna Price sat with her team. The ship drifted near an abandoned moon, quiet, hidden. We're almost out of supplies, said Malik, checking the monitors. No food left. Oxygen tanks are half full. Jenna leaned back. Then we find somewhere we can breathe. What if they're already looking for us? Asked a younger soldier. They are, Jenna said. Which is why we go where they can't follow. She pulled up a map. This moon has old mining tunnels. It used to be a gas station, like the last one, but the Valari abandoned it. Why? Malik asked. She pointed to the red warning symbols. Oxygen levels too high. The team looked at one another and smiled. Meanwhile, Dr. Sirin was not in his lab. He had traveled secretly to a hidden Valari research base on the edge of the galaxy. Inside were living humans, test subjects taken from other captured ships. One of them, a young woman named Tessa, sat calmly in a glass room filled with pure oxygen. No food, no water. Just air. She looked straight at Sirin through the glass. She didn't blink. She's been in there for 3 days, said an assistant. No weakness, no pain. Sirin stepped closer. No suit, no support. And still alive. He pressed a button. The oxygen level increased. Inside, Tessa simply stood up and began doing push-ups. Slowly, calmly, without struggle. The assistant gasped. They grow stronger in it. Yes, Sirin whispered. And if they ever learn how to weaponize it. He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Back on the abandoned moon, Jenna's team landed quietly. The place was dark and cold, but the sensors showed rich oxygen levels in the deep tunnels. They entered with care. No signs of life, Malik said. No Valari ships nearby, Jenna nodded. Then this is our base now. They set up quickly small beds, power packs, and communication devices. It wasn't much, but it was home. A few hours later, something strange happened. Jenna stood near a vent where the oxygen leaked freely, her lungs filled with a dot, and for the first time in days. She smiled. I feel stronger, she said. Malik blinked. What do you mean? She flexed her hand. My wounds. They're gone. Others checked their bruises and cuts. Gone. Healed. It's the oxygen, Jenna said. It's healing us. At the Valari base, Siren stared at more test results. We need to separate them from oxygen, he said, or they'll become unstoppable. But how? He closed his eyes. We design new prisons, with gas that burns their lungs. No more oxygen. No more air. But it was too late. Jenna's team had already sent a message, not to Earth, but to every human outpost hiding in the stars. Oxygen-rich areas are safe zones. We grow stronger there. Build your bases, use your breath. It's our shield now. The message spread to old colonies, to broken ships, to survivors, and suddenly, the galaxy had a new fear. Not human guns, not human ships, but human lungs. On Valari Prime, Vesk watched the message repeat over and over. They turned air into a weapon. He said slowly. No, Siren replied. They always had it. We just never noticed. And in the silence of space, Jenna sat at the edge of a tunnel, staring out at the stars. They took our freedom, she said softly, but they forgot one thing. Malik looked over. What's that? She inhaled deeply. We never needed their help to fight. She smiled. We just needed room to breathe. Thick yellow clouds rolled across the dead valley. Nothing lived here. The air was poison. The ground burned boots. Even machines struggled to survive. It was a place the Valari called the Zone of Silence. And that's exactly why Jenna Price chose it. Bring it down easy, she said, standing behind Malik as the scout ship lowered through the storm. The ship shook, its wind struggling against the violent winds. This place is a nightmare, Malik muttered. It's perfect, Jenna replied. They'll never look for us here. With a final jolt, the ship landed on a rocky cliff. Acid fog swirled around it. No one would dare come here. No one except humans. Inside the ship, the crew looked uneasy. Private Alina coughed. That smell, it's awful. It's not smell, Malik said. It's the gas. It kills anything with soft lungs. Except us, Jenna reminded him. We've adapted, remember? She pointed to her chest. Breathe deep, you'll feel it. They did. And slowly, the pain in their bones faded. The headaches disappeared. Their skin stopped itching. The oxygen in the poison air wasn't pure, but it was enough. Malik stepped outside first. Can't believe we're doing this. Believe it, Jenna said. We're building our next base, right here. In the toxic zone. Far above, in a command ship orbiting the sector, Commander Vexler watched the storm from his window. No ship should be down there, he growled. That zone is uninhabitable. Dr. Siren stood beside him, checking a tablet. Unless you're human, Vexler turned slowly. What did you say? I tracked a strange signal entering the toxic zone, Siren said. It matches the stolen ship. That's suicide. Not for them, Siren replied. They breathe what kills us. It's their strength now. Vexler's face twisted in anger. Send a drone. Confirm it. Deep in the valley, Jenna's team worked quickly. They used the wreckage of old mining towers and pipes to build shelter. Every hour, the gas burned their eyes, but their bodies no longer feared it. Malik pointed to a nearby cliff. Old relay tower up there, he said. Might still work. Good, Jenna said. We can tap into the Velaricum lines again. Hear what they're planning. Just then, Elena's scanner beeped. Movement in the sky, she said. It's fast, not a storm current. Jenna grabbed her rifle. Take cover. A black Velari drone flew overhead, scanning the valley. It's found us, Malik said. Jenna aimed, one shot, direct hit. The drone exploded in flames. Now they know, she said calmly. Then they're coming. Elena replied. Hours later, back on the command ship, Siren watched the drone's final footage. They're alive. And they've built a base. Vexler slammed his fist on the console. Enough. I want them erased. They're inside. Gas we can't enter, Siren warned. Then send the fire breathers. Siren blinked. They haven't been tested in that kind of environment. They're elite, Vexler snapped. And they have full suits. They'll handle it. The fire breathers arrived in less than a day. 6 tall Velari soldiers. Full pressure suits. Flame-resistant armor. Jetpacks. Laser weapons. They landed just outside the toxic valley, scanning the area. No signs of structures, said one. Keep walking, replied their leader. They hide well. But Jenna had seen them land. They're here, she whispered. She and her team moved silently through the broken tunnels. They knew every vent, every shadow. They owned this place now. Malik smiled. Let them come. The fire breathers entered the valley. At first, their suits held strong, but the gas here was unlike any other. Hot, thick, sharp. It ate away at the filters. Inside his helmet, one soldier coughed. My readings are red. Stay calm, said the leader. Mission first. But that's when the traps began. First, an old pipe exploded near them, blasting 2 soldiers backward. Then a wall of fire burst out from a hidden tunnel. It's rigged. Someone shouted. We're being hunted. And then came the shadows. Jenna and her team attacked from above, sliding down vents, firing modified pulse rifles. Their bullets didn't need to hit hard. The gas was doing the real damage. One by one, the fire breathers fell. Inside her mask, Jenna whispered, You should have stayed away. The last Velari soldier tried to escape, but collapsed just before reaching his ship. His helmet cracked. The gas rushed in. He screamed, and then there was silence. Later, Siren watched the footage from their helmets. All 6 gone. Vexler's face was pale. They defeated elite soldiers. With nothing but gas and traps, Siren spoke quietly. It's not just gas. It's home to them now. In the valley, Jenna's team celebrated in silence. They didn't cheer. They didn't laugh. They just stood, breathing the thick air. Elena looked out across the fog. Think they'll send more? Let them, Jenna said. We'll be waiting. She walked to the top of the cliff where the relay tower stood. The wind howled. The clouds rolled. She opened the cum and spoke into it. This is Captain Jenna Price of the Oxygen Breathers. We are alive. We are free, and we are hiding in the places you fear. She paused. Come find us. Then she cut the signal, and far above the stars, the Velari finally understood. The toxic zones they had abandoned were now controlled by humans. And the most dangerous place in the galaxy was where no alien dared to breathe. The toxic valley slept under thick yellow clouds. Acid winds swept across sharp rocks and broken towers. For the Velari, this place was death. For humans, it was cover. Inside the gas-filled tunnels, Jenna Price checked her map. They'll come. Again, she said quietly. Malik looked up from his screen. More soldiers? She nodded. Worse. I've seen them before. The fire breathers. Elena raised an eyebrow. What are those? Elite Velari hunters, Jenna explained. Full-body suits, advanced armor. They can walk in any gas, any storm. They think suits can protect them from us, Malik said with a grin. Let's show them they're wrong. Jenna's voice was calm, serious. They're not like the others. We don't fight them head on. We trap them. We break them slowly, one by one. In orbit, Vexler stared at a screen showing the toxic zone from above. Behind him stood 6 tall Velari soldiers. Their armor was red and black. Fire symbols glowed on their chests. One of them stepped forward. "Permission to strike?" he said. "You are the best," Vexler replied. "Kill them, all of them. Leave nothing breathing." The soldier gave a slow, confident nod. "We are the fire breathers. We do not fail." Their ship launched with a roar, heading straight for the Poison Valley. Back on the ground, Malik watched the sky. "They're coming, just like you said." Jenna checked her traps. "We fall back into the deep vents. Keep your masks on. Don't engage until I give the signal." Elena grabbed her rifle. "Do we even stand a chance?" Jenna looked at her, steady and sure. "We always have a chance. We're human." The fire breathers landed hard, kicking up toxic dust as they stepped out of their drop pod. Their suits hissed, pumping clean air into their lungs. "Scanners online," said one. "Signs of movement underground," said another. "Split into pairs," their leader ordered. "Find them. Burn them out." They moved like machines, cold. Fast, perfect. But the valley was not what it seemed. Jenna and Malik crouched behind a wall of cracked rock. She watched the Velari through her goggles. "They're scanning," Malik whispered. "But they're too confident." Jenna pointed to a vent ahead. "Lead them there. I've rigged the tunnels." He nodded and ran. The fire breathers saw him instantly. "There!" one shouted. "Target moving east." 2 of them followed, stepping carefully through the rocks, but Malik disappeared into the fog. "We lost him." "No, we didn't," Jenna said from behind. She pressed a remote. Boom! The vent exploded beneath their feet. Gas burst up like a flame. The Velari were thrown backward, one of them smashing into a metal wall. The other tried to rise, but Jenna was already there, kicking his weapon away and jamming a gas canister into his suit's air intake. "Let's see how you like our air," she whispered. He screamed as oxygen flooded his system. His suit hissed. His skin blistered under the helmet. She stepped back. One down. Elena and 2 other humans led the second pair of fire breathers through a broken tunnel filled with steam. The aliens followed slowly. Heat signatures ahead. One said, "Ambush," said the other. "Be ready." But as they stepped forward, the floor gave way. They dropped into a pit filled with sharp metal spikes and gas bombs. "Trap!" The pit exploded. Only one fire breather crawled out, his armor cracked, coughing, wheezing. He reached for his weapon. Then Elena appeared above him. She held a steel rod. "Welcome to our world," she said, and brought it down, back at the ship. The fire breather leader received the silent signals. His team was dying. He snarled, "I'll finish this myself." He activated thermal vision and stormed into the fog, hunting like a beast. "Show yourself," he shouted. And Jenna did. She stood on a broken bridge, weapon raised. "You're the last," she said. "I am deaf," he growled. He fired first. Jenna jumped, rolled behind a pipe and fired back. Sparks flew. Gas lines exploded around them. He moved forward, unstoppable, blasting cover after cover, but she kept falling back, leading him deeper into a tight metal tunnel. "You can't run forever," he shouted, chasing her. "I'm not running," Jenna said. She kicked a gas valve open. Pure oxygen spilled into the tunnel. Then she jumped through a side hatch and slammed it shut. The fire breather looked around. "What is this?" A small light blinked on the wall. Boom! The entire tunnel lit up like a sun. The blast knocked out half the cliffside. Jenna stood above, watching fire rise from the ruins, and then silence. Back at their camp, Malik shook his head in disbelief. "All 6? Gone?" Jenna nodded, sitting down. "They sent their best." "And they lost," Elena added. "No, Jenna said slowly. They learned. She looked up at the sky. They'll be back. Smarter. Stronger. This was just a test. What do we do now? Someone asked. She stood. We prepare for war. Far above, inside the Velari council chamber, Vexler watched the final drone footage. Smoke. Ash. No fire breathers left. One of the council members whispered, They destroyed your finest warriors. Vexler's eyes burned with rage. They used gas, fire, and traps. They fight like ghosts. Siren stepped forward. No, they fight like humans. He turned to the council, and we are breathing the wrong air. The toxic valley was no longer quiet. It buzzed with energy. Old Velari towers now had human flags. Broken mining equipment had become defense turrets. And deep inside the vents, hundreds of humans were gathering. Jenna Price stood on a ledge, looking down at them. She saw soldiers, engineers, and even old civilians once prisoners, now survivors. They're ready, Malik said beside her. Jenna nodded. Then it's time. She turned to face the crowd. We escaped, she said. We hid, we fought, and we survived. But now, we rise. A quiet murmur rolled through the group. They think we're still scattered, broken, weak. They don't know we've turned their poison into power. They don't know we've learned to fight in the dark. She raised her hand. Now we send a message. Not just to Velari Prime, but to every human out there still in chains. We are not alone anymore. The room erupted in quiet cheers. This was the start of something bigger. Far above, in a Velari communication tower, a technician gasped. Signal detected. Location? His commander barked. Impossible. It's coming from inside a dead zone. Human channel encrypted, but spreading fast. What does it say? The technician blinked. It says, We are the oxygen breathers. Join us. Rise. The commander's skin turned pale blue. Shut it down. We can't. It's bouncing through old Velari mining relays. The signal is everywhere. In the slave mines of Carnish 3, a young boy, hiding under a broken shuttle, heard the message on a stolen device. His eyes lit up. On the prison moon of Zolthar, a human mechanic smuggled the signal to his bunkmates. They're alive, he whispered. There's resistance. And on a deep space cargo ship run by Velari, a human pilot smiled. I always knew someone would fight back. Back at the valley, Alina ran toward Jenna with a report. 50 new humans joined overnight, escaped from different sectors. Some walked for days through storm zones. Malik followed, holding a cracked datapad. And we're getting calls. People want to help. Engineers, smugglers, ex-soldiers. They're ready. Jenna took a deep breath. Then we build more. She pointed to the old mining maps. These tunnels stretch across 5 zones. Some lead to old Velari gas stations. We take them. We turn them into bases. Elena hesitated. Won't that draw attention? It's time we stop hiding, Jenna said. Let them see us. But Velari Command had already seen Dot in a dark council room. Vexler slammed his fist on the table. They are spreading like fire. Dr. Siren stepped forward, holding the screen. I warned you. Their oxygen is not a weakness, it's their edge. And now they're using it to light a rebellion. Vexler pointed at the map. Crush them, send fleets, burn every tunnel. Flood the valleys. Siren shook his head. You can't. The gas zones are unsafe for us. Our soldiers die in minutes. Vexler growled. Then find a way, or we lose this war. In the valley, Jenna watched a new human ship land. It was old, rusty, but it flew. Dozens of survivors stepped out, some holding weapons, others just carrying food and tools. One man approached Jenna. His skin was scarred, and his voice was rough. Name's Tyler, used to be a miner, saw your signal. Jenna offered her hand. Welcome to the Resistance. He looked around. Got people who know how to rebuild engines. Can turn old gas pipes into missile tubes. Jenna smiled. You're hired. He leaned closer. Word is, some Valari are nervous. Not all of them agree with the war. Jenna raised an eyebrow. Explain. Tyler looked left and right, then whispered. Heard of a Valari called Koresh. Used to be high in command. Disappeared. Now he's helping slaves escape. Says he wants peace. Malik joined them. You believe him? Tyler shrugged. I believe in people who get their hands dirty. Jenna thought for a moment. If he's real, I want to meet him. Later that night, under the cover of a heavy gas storm, a message arrived. From Koresh, I have knowledge, plans, locations. I want to help. Meet me at Grid 9, old relay station. Alone. Malik frowned. It's a trap. Maybe, Jenna said. But maybe it's hope. She looked around the room. Her people were tired, but growing stronger. We're not winning yet. But every piece matters. If Koresh is real, he could turn the tide. Elena stepped forward. You won't go alone. I have to, Jenna said. He sat alone. If he's watching and sees others, he'll vanish. Malik crossed his arms. We'll track you, the moment something feels wrong. I know, she nodded. Pull me out. Jenna arrived. At the old relay station just before midnight. The wind howled, but the building stood quiet. A broken tower leaned against the side. Metal groaned in the storm. She stepped inside. Koresh? She called. From the shadows, a figure appeared. He was Valari, but wore no armor. Just a cloak and a breathing mask. You're braver than I expected, he said. You're late. She replied. He laughed softly. I had to be sure it was really you. The one they now call the Breathwalker. She kept her gun low, ready. You said you had information. Koresh reached into his coat and pulled out a chip. This has maps of every slave zone, codes to unlock them. Locations of key energy stations, all vulnerable. Why help us? She asked. I once believed in the Empire, he said. Now I see it rots from the inside. I believe you're the cure. Jenna stared into his eyes. If you betray us, you'll shoot me, Koresh said calmly. I understand. She took the chip. Thank you, she said quietly. Good luck, Captain, he replied. You'll need it. Back in the valley, Jenna plugged the chip into the terminal. Maps lit up across the wall. Malik stared. These are real. Elena gasped. We can free thousands. Jenna looked at them all. Then what are we waiting for? She turned to her people. Tonight the resistance rises. And far across the stars, in places once silent and forgotten, human eyes opened. They heard the call, and they breathed. The valley was no longer silent. Tunnels echoed with footsteps. Fires burned in old fuel drums. Human voices filled the dark spaces where only gas and fear used to live. But now, the air itself had become the enemy. Jenna stood in front of the main tunnel gate, looking at the flickering map Koresh had given them. One of the main energy stations, code-named Riftlight, was deep in a zone with unstable gas. It powered at least 3 Valari slave sectors. If they shut it down, thousands of humans would be free, but it came with a deadly problem. Zone 13? Malik said, reading the map. You're kidding. No, Jenna replied. That's where we go next. Elena coughed behind them, wearing a half-broken filter mask. That place kills Valari in minutes, she said. And humans too, if we don't stay in sealed suits. Which we don't have, Malik added. Jenna looked up. We'll make them. Tyler, the ex-miner, stepped forward. We've been working on something. Old Valari pump suits. They weren't made for us, but we've been adapting them. Jenna raised an eyebrow. Do they work? Long enough to walk through death, he said. That night, Jenna stood in the underground garage, watching 5 people suit up. She wore one too heavy, clunky, and patched with tape. This is insane, Elena said through the helmet radio. It's necessary. Jenna answered. We take out Riftlight, we cripple Valari supply lines. Malik pulled on his gloves. And if we die before reaching it? Then we die with purpose, Jenna said flatly. But we don't plan to die. The 5 of them moved through the exit tunnel. Behind them, other humans watched silently. No one cheered. No one smiled. They all knew this mission was more than just an attack. It was a test. Trial of air. The moment they crossed into Zone 13, everything changed. The gas was thick yellow and green clouds that swirled around like fog. Visibility dropped to almost nothing. Stay close, Jenna said. Their suits with each breath. Filters buzzed. Heat built up inside the helmets. Readings are spiking, Elena said. We've got 30 minutes max. Keep moving. They climbed over broken pipes, walked across ruined railways, and stepped around dead Valari drones. Some had melted from the inside. Others were just bones and armor. No wonder they abandoned this place, Malik whispered. Suddenly, Tyler froze. Movement. 2 o'clock. Everyone stopped. Through the gas, a shape moved. Slow, dragging its legs. Is it Valari? Elena asked. No, Jenna said. Too small. The figure stepped closer and collapsed. Jenna rushed forward. It was a boy, maybe 14. His face was pale. No mask, just an old cloth over his mouth. He's human. Malik shouted. Jenna pulled him up. The boy opened one eye. You're real, he whispered. Where's your family? Jenna asked. Gone, he coughed. Tried to find air. I stayed here, hid. You're lucky to be alive, Malik said. We're getting him out, Jenna said. No time, Elena argued. We either finish the mission or we carry him back and fail. Jenna looked down at the boy. He stared back. Don't stop. If Riftlight goes down... More like me survive. Jenna clenched her jaw. Then she wrapped a spare patch around his mouth and handed him a beacon. Stay here. This will lead rescuers to you. The boy nodded. They moved on. 15 minutes later, they reached the outer gate of Riftlight. The structure rose like a black tower in the gas storm. Lights blinked behind thick walls. Machines hummed in the distance. This is it, Jenna said. Tyler pulled out a metal rod. This EMP spike, if placed near the core, will short the system. No more power for their slave grids. Security? Elena asked. Scanners, bots, maybe 1 or 2 remote Valari guards, Tyler said. But this place is too dangerous for them to keep fully manned. Malik cracked his knuckles. Good, that gives us a chance. They slipped through a broken side hatch and moved into the station. Inside, the air was no better. Pipes leaked gas. Lights flickered. But it was silent. Too silent. Something felt wrong. We should have been seen by now, Malik said. I know, Jenna replied. They moved deeper, then the lights shut. Off, complete darkness. Then dash click. Dozens of red eyes lit up above them. Run! Tyler shouted. Security drones dropped from the ceiling, spinning with blades and tasers. A trap. Malik fired his rifle. Sparks flew. One drone fell. Elena screamed as a blade slashed her shoulder. She fell back, bleeding. Get her up, Jenna shouted. Tyler pulled her behind a pipe. EMP, I need 5 seconds near the core. Cover him. Jenna yelled. They fired, screamed, ducked, and ran. It was chaos. Jenna reached the control room and saw the core glowing blue, spinning fast. Tyler. He ran forward and slammed the spike into the floor. A high-pitched noise filled the air. Then dash boom. Lights burst. Drones froze. The whole station groaned. Go, Jenna shouted. It's collapsing. They grabbed Elena and sprinted for the exit. Pipes burst behind them. Fire spilled through the walls. Just as they reached the edge of Zone 13, the ground shook and Riftlight exploded. In the distance, a blue fireball rose into the gas clouds. Jenna fell to her knees. They had done it. Back at the valley, the celebration was quiet but powerful. Hundreds of lights flickered in the tunnels as news spread. The energy station was gone. 3 slave. Sectors went dark. Velari drones powered down. Fences unlocked. And thousands of humans walked free. The boy they found. He survived. Jenna visited him personally. You saved lives, she told him. He smiled. I just believed you'd come. Later, as Jenna stood looking over her people, Malik joined her. You realize what we've just done? He said. She nodded. We started something they can't stop. Elena stood nearby, her arm in a sling. Velari will hit back, she sighed. They will, Jenna agreed. And when they do, we'll be ready. Behind them, the humans of the valley gathered. Some were wounded. Others still wore chains. But now, they had something stronger than fear. They had air. And hope. The sky above Earth's ruined cities had changed color. Smoke rose from broken towers. Ash covered the wind. And in the darkness, something worse had come. The oxygen sweepers. Jenna knew it wasn't a rumor anymore. She had seen it with her own eyes. Velari's ships weren't just bombing resistance zones. They were burning the air. They're not trying to kill soldiers, Malik said, standing over a shattered monitor. They're trying to erase us, make Earth unlivable. Jenna looked at the screen. Red zones spread across the globe. The Velari were activating old weather weapons, machines that sucked out oxygen and replaced it with thick, toxic gas, the same kind that had made Zone 13 deadly. They're punishing us for riftlight, Elena said quietly. No, Jenna said. They're scared, and that's exactly why we don't stop. The plan was dangerous, maybe impossible. Tyler, the ex-miner, had stolen an old Velari flight log. It showed the location of a hidden oxygen processor deep in Arctic Zone 7. It was used by the Velari to keep their own air clean when they needed to breathe like humans. If we take it, we control the gas systems in this sector, Tyler explained. We can reverse the sweep, flood the zones with clean air again. Malik shook his head. That's a big if. And we only have 2 days, Elena added. Once they activate the final sweeper near the equator, Earth's atmosphere will start to break. Jenna stood up. Then we move now. The snowstorm hit them as soon as they reached Zone 7. Their old human flyer patched with stolen alien tech shook in the wind. Engines are freezing, Tyler said. Land it, Jenna ordered. They set down on ice near the Velari base. It was half buried in snow, with sharp towers sticking out like metal bones. Any guards? Elena asked. Tyler checked the sensors. Drones, big ones, and something else. Heat signatures underground. Jenna tightened her jacket. Then we go in quiet. They moved under cover of the storm. Their breath froze inside their masks. The snow swallowed their steps, but halfway across the field, the ground exploded. A Velari attack bot burst from the ice. 8 legs, 2 plasma guns. Down! Jenna shouted. The team scattered. The bot fired, melting snow into steam. Malik rolled behind a rock and fired back. Sparks flew. Tyler yelled, That thing's got a shield. We need a distraction. Jenna said. Elena stood up and ran left, shouting and firing. The bot turned toward her. Now! Malik threw a grenade. It landed under the bot and exploded. The shield flickered, then dropped. Jenna fired a full blast into the bot's center. It twitched, then fell, smoke rising. Elena limped back, her leg bleeding. You okay? Jenna asked. I'll walk, she said through gritted teeth. They pushed forward. Inside the base, the air was warm. Too warm. Velari lights blinked along the walls. Holograms floated in the air. This place is still active, Tyler whispered. Where's the processor? Jenna asked. He pointed down. Lower levels, but we've got a problem. A voice echoed through the hallway, deep and cold. You should have stayed in your tunnels. They turned and saw a Velari commander standing at the far end, holding a long staff that glowed blue. Jenna raised her weapon. Back off, The Valari stepped forward. You humans always fight. Always think oxygen is your right. But it belongs to those strong enough to hold it, Malik growled. You invaded our world. The Valari pointed the staff at the ceiling. And now we will finish what we started. A sudden shockwave blasted down the hall, throwing them backward. Tyler shouted, That's no normal staff, it's channeling the processor itself. Then we take it from him, Jenna said. The fight was brutal. Jenna dodged the next shockwave and ran forward, firing. The Valari blocked her shots with a glowing shield. Malik jumped behind him and tackled the alien to the ground. But the Valari kicked him off and swung, the staff hitting Elena square in the chest. She screamed and fell. Unmoving. No. Jenna cried. She ran, picked up Elena's dropped blade, and drove it into the Valari's side. He roared in pain and dropped the staff. Tyler caught it. It's linked to the controls, he said. I can override the sweepers, but I need time. Do it, Jenna said, holding the Valari at gunpoint. We'll keep him busy, the commander sneered. You think you can win? Jenna leaned in close. We already are. Outside, the sweepers began to shut down. The red zones on Earth's map started turning green again. People came out of hiding, breathing fresh air for the first time in weeks. Cities filled with shouting. Not in fear, but in hope. Inside the base, Tyler finally stood. It's done. I've locked the oxygen systems to human levels and fried the Valari controls. Jenna looked at the fallen commander, now handcuffed and silent. Then Earth has air again. Malik leaned over Elena. She's alive, but barely. We'll get her help, Jenna said. She earned it. They climbed out into the snow, the storm now fading. The wind carried something new. Not fear. Not smoke, but breath. Back at the valley, cheers echoed through the tunnels. They had survived the first wave of the oxygen wars, but it was only the beginning. Valari still held the skies, still had weapons beyond human understanding. But humans had something better, the will to breathe. Jenna stood before the growing crowd. We've taken back the air, she said. And now we take back everything else. Behind her, Elena stood on crutches. Tyler leaned on a cane. Malik watched the sky. The people shouted one word, again and again, freedom. And far above Earth, deep in the black of space, Valari warships turned. They had lost control of the atmosphere. Now they wanted revenge, but Earth was no longer silent. The stars above Earth were no longer silent. They glowed with tension. They whispered of war. Far beyond the planet's edge, the Valari armada had returned 3 times larger than before. This time, they didn't bring drones. They didn't bring warnings. They brought total war. Inside Command Tunnel 0, Jenna stood with her team. The room was filled with nervous voices, flickering lights, and maps full of red. They're coming from orbit, Malik said, pointing. 3 entry points, all fast, all armed. Elena leaned on her crutch and looked at the data. They're going to crush our cities from the sky. They're not playing anymore. Tyler stood beside the new control terminal, connected to the Koli. Captured oxygen processors. We bought Earth a breath. But it won't last long if they melt the surface. Jenna nodded slowly. Then we don't let them. Malik raised an eyebrow. What are you thinking? We go up, Jenna said. We take the fight to space. The room fell silent. You want to attack their fleet? Elena asked. Jenna's eyes were steady. No, I want to send a message. One they'll never forget. In the dark corners of old military hangars, something slept. It was called Project Iron Lung. Built when the first alien threat was discovered. Forgotten when politics changed. Hidden when the Valari came. It was a warship, half human, half alien design. Fast, silent. Designed to burn through space like fire through air. Jenna touched its cold surface. This is it, she whispered. Our answer, Tyler smiled. We call it iron lung because it doesn't breathe, that forces air where there is none. Malik nodded. Let's give it lungs of war. The launch was rough. They had no crew. Just Jenna, Malik, Elena, and Tyler along. With 200 volunteers trained in secret, they broke through Earth's atmosphere just as the Velari fleet arrived. Red lights filled the sky. Hundreds of ships. Plasma weapons charged. Don't panic, Jenna said into the comms. We're not here to fight them head on. We're here to strike the heart. Tyler worked the controls. Their flagship, the Voxer, is central to the fleet. If we destroy it, the rest will scatter. Elena tightened her seatbelt. And how do we get close to it? Malik grinned. Simple. We fly like humans, reckless and angry. The iron lung dived into the swarm of Velari ships. Like a bullet through water. Enemy fire blasted around them. Shields flared. Jenna shouted, "Don't stop. Head straight for the flagship." One Velari cruiser moved to block them. Elena loaded the rail cannon. "Say goodbye," she fired. The round tore through the alien ship, splitting it apart in flames. 2. More ships chased them. EMP pulse ready. Tyler yelled, "Do it." A wave of blue energy exploded from the iron lung. The chasing ships blinked out dead in space. Jenna locked eyes on the flagship. It was massive, covered in rotating shields. Guarded by destroyers. And deep inside, it was the breath engine. A weapon designed to erase air from entire planets. They want to take Earth's air again. Malik said. Jenna leaned forward. Then we take their breath first. They broke through the shields with a stolen Velari code. Inside the flagship, gravity shifted. The team jumped from the iron lung into the alien halls. Lights blinked red. Sirens howled. "Split up," Jenna ordered. "Tyler, find the breath engine. Malik and Elena, clear the control room. I'll hold the corridor." They ran. Tyler slid under a gate. Just before it closed, Elena kicked open a door and tossed in a flash grenade. Malik followed, gun ready. Jenna took cover and waited for the Velari guards. They came huge, armored, angry. She fought like a flame. Every shot, every step forward, was human rage burning into alien metal. For Earth. She shouted. One fell. 2 more came. She didn't stop. In the engine room, Tyler gasped. The breath engine was alive, pulsing with light, feeding energy into the ship. He planted the bomb carefully, quietly. 5 minutes, he whispered. "That's all I need." But a voice spoke from behind him. "You won't leave alive." It was the Velari High Warden, the same one who had burned the first human city. Tyler turned, shaking. "I don't care," he said, "as long as you stop breathing." The warden attacked. In the control room, Elena screamed as a blast hit her. Side. Malik dragged her behind a console. "Stay down," he yelled. She coughed blood. "You better win this." Malik stood and fired the last of his shots, clearing the room. "Control room is ours," he shouted into the comms. Jenna's voice came back, heavy with breath. "Status? Barely breathing." Jenna smiled through her bruises. "That means you're alive." Tyler lay bleeding beside the warden, but the bomb was armed. He hit the cum. "Jenna, engine is set." 2 minutes. Jenna ran through the corridors. Blood on her hands. She found Malik carrying Elena. They met at the launch bay. Tyler stumbled in last. Coughing. "You made it," Jenna said. He smiled weakly. "Barely." They climbed aboard the iron lung. Jenna turned back once, just once, to see the alien flagship begin to crack from within. "Goodbye," she whispered. They launched. Behind them, the Voxer exploded in a silent fire. Velari ships scattered. Some collided. Some vanished into warp. Earth watched from below as its enemies fell from the sky like broken stars. In the aftermath, the people rebuilt. Not just buildings, but hope. The iron lung landed to cheers and tears. Jenna helped Elena down the ramp. Malik carried Tyler. Crowds rushed forward, waving, shouting, singing. We did it, Jenna said softly. Malik smiled. We breathed war into their lungs. Elena laughed. And they choked on it. Months later, a small plaque was placed at the edge of the rebuilt city. It read, "We are not made of fire or metal. We are breath, and we are unstoppable." The oxygen wars had ended, not with peace, but with the simple truth: you can take a planet's land, you can take its cities, but when you try to take its breath, humanity fights back.